Okay, welcome to One Stop Co-op Shop. It's Steve here with Bairnt.
Woo! We're here again for the co-op chat. I'm ready
I
to chat
know
some co-opiness.
all the co-op chattiness, right? So
That's right.
I always look forward to this one. Uh, so this first time joining, welcome. This is our weekly live chat about cooperative games generally, but we kind of go off topic about a lot of different things. We cover the news and have a discussion topic. So, discussion topic this week, we talk about games that replace other games. So, we're not going to go through like all the games that replace other games in our collection. We'll just just do a few examples. This might be something we come back to every once in a while. So,
Yeah, wouldn't be bad. Like kind of, it's almost like kind of your forever games. Like what's kind of changed that you have that you don't anymore.
I need to put together my forever. I have my forever game list, but I need to put together a video for that one. So, just haven't done it.
Disappointing you, Steve.
I
Disappointed
know, dropping the
already.
ball. Good. So, good afternoon, Snow. Welcome, Marcin. Thanks for joining. But yes, we'll jump in that chat. This will probably be a short one, but yeah, let's dive into it. So, the only news I have for this week is Call of Killforth will be launching this coming week on Kickstarter. I'm pretty sure it's Kickstarter. I don't have a page or anything for it, but if you know the Killforth series, you probably know what to expect for this one. So, Baron, have you played these games?
I have played multiples of these games. I have played Veil Wraith. Is that the one?
Gloom of Killforth, the
Gloom of Killforth.
first.
There's
Shadows? Was it
Shadows of
Shadows?
Killforth. And then there's like the Veil Wraith one. I think I've got it up here.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, it's Veil Wraith. It's right there.
is that
That's the
related to the
black and white
same?
one.
Is that the
It's in
same
the same,
world?
huh?
Is it the same world or something?
I think it is. Well, that's a great question, Steve. I'm sure like there might be some people that could tell me exactly, but I think it's the same world, same designer. But that
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean the same world. It is all black and white, which is kind of cool. A different spin on it. There is some art taken from some of the other games. I don't know if that was intentional or if that was like part of the idea of bringing you into this world from a different perspective type thing. But yes, I have them. Do I play them? I don't play them probably enough. I think I got well, I actually have it so I could play with 4 players if I want to. It's like 4 player mats and all this,
Hmm.
and I just haven't had a chance to do it. I know it's a fantastic solo experience. I'd like to try it like multiplayer just to see kind of what happens. I haven't heard I've heard mixed review type things on multiplayer. Some people think it kind of drags a little bit. Other players think it's kind of cool to work with each other and doing things. And like when I did my playthrough of it, I think I played two. It's been a while, Steve. I think I played 2 players, and I think I did it the co-op type way, so you could actually help each other, which is kind of cool. I think the one thing I hear a lot, which may be changing hopefully in the way this one works. I haven't looked into this. I'm going to when I get a chance. Is I would take a character, be like, "Oh, this character is really cool." Well, then at the end, all I need is just strength, like to
Yeah.
beat the boss, kind of thing. And so, I was really hoping maybe this will change that type of thing. Like maybe every one, the monster has a certain like way of killing it that could be working with your strengths. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Yeah, and let's if people aren't familiar with this series, it's kind of a card-based adventure game, as I would say. Like cards is in that like you have a lot of locations on the board moving around, and you are drafting or recruiting a tableau of items and allies and spells, all that fun stuff, as you go around the board. Hey, good morning, Ryan. Thanks for joining. Um, but yes, it's kind of a big old adventure game, and what you said, Baron, is the same thing that I experienced as well. Because I think I played Shadows. I don't know if I played Gloom.
I played Shadows more than I've played Gloom of Killfall. Colin has Gloom, and I played it
Hmm.
once, but then and because of that play, I went into Shadows and all in and kind of got into it and everything.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean the artwork's fantastic in this game for sure. It's stellar. It's great. But yeah, exactly what you said. I feel like it's got this cool like I can branch all these different directions. But to win the game, you have to defeat a big bad boss, and
Yeah.
generally you need combat related skills. So if you kind of level up your character without that focus, it can be a little challenging towards the end. And
I
Snow
will say
mentioned,
that the oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Snow mentioned that this is the last part of the trilogy. What they're doing.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I will say that the designer and creator of this game is probably one of the nicest, most like interactive creator, public producers of a game I have ever met. He is super cool. He's super nice. He bends over backwards to help you out. He's just an overall thrill to work with. So I really like to see him succeed in these games. So whenever I get a chance, I like to try to like if I were to, I'd probably back this almost because of the fact that he is that cool, that passionate, and that like has that much love of his game and world. He's a super cool guy.
That's awesome. Love to hear that. But yeah, this one is a different setting. So Gloom of Killforth was like your standard fantasy setting, I'd say, and then Shadows was more of a horror-ish goth type. Well, they're all gothic style, I believe. And this one
also had more of that like feudal Japan type feel to it. It had like a lot of samurai.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
I could be wrong. I mean, but of course they all kind of bleed together too. It's not like
they do. Yeah, you can mix and match them too. And this one is pirate themed. So you're selling ships, at least. Well, maybe not pirates, but you're selling ships.
Steve, it's right up your alley. You can bring it in with your Tiny Epic pirate game.
I know. It's been coming up pirates this week for some odd reason. So if you don't know, I play Tiny Epic Pirates Wednesday, and then at Friday during the day, Peter played. He played. Oh yeah, Keyforge Adventures, the cooperative version of Keyforge. And that was also a pirate theme. We had to steal money on the ship and stuff. And now we're covering the news, which is another pirate theme game. So it's like a Pirates all week, apparently. So
that's right.
So, so Snow's asking the important questions this morning or this afternoon. Is that a Boba Fett's head you're drinking from this morning?
Yes, I got
Excellent.
it from. Yes, it is. Yeah, it chipped a little bit, but that's okay. My son bought this for me for I think Father's Day, like 5 years ago or something. So, yeah, that's Boba Fett's his favorite character from Star Wars. It's not my favorite character, but it's his favorite character. Yeah, super excited for was it Book of Boba coming up? That's really soon. It's something we're watching Mandalorian. A little bit of spoilery stuff. Probably not ever going to ruin the entire thing for us, but we were watching it, and all of a sudden, like he actually makes an appearance in the show, and my son was sitting there, and he actually jumped up on the couch and was screaming. And now he's 11 now, so it's not like he's 6 anymore. And he's screaming, "It's Boba Fett! It's Boba Fett!" And I'm like, and both Rob and I look at each other. Boba Fett is so dead. It is not Boba Fett. And bonk, sure enough, is Boba Fett. I was like, really? Wow. Like, no, that's the slave one. It's coming in. I know it. That's no, I can't be it. No, yeah, sure enough. Here he goes. Like, wow.
It's
I don't know how he did it, but in 11 years, this kid knows more about Star Wars than I do, and I consider myself like a Star Wars fanatic. I lost Star Wars trivia to him when he was like 8. I couldn't believe it. Like we're actually playing the Star Wars trivia game, and it's like for the win you had to name this race, and I was like, okay. And it starts slowly depicting this you had to name the person, and it was slowly depicting this person. It like was all in white. You didn't no idea who this is, and all of a sudden my kid goes, "That's Kid Fisto." I'm like, first off, who is Kid Fisto, and how do you know who this guy is? He's in the Clone Wars, Dad. And oh, by the way, he was also in this episode of this one. He was in this. He does this. I'm like, and he comes from here. I'm like, oh, how do you know all this?
That's amazing.
Yeah, when he wants to learn something, he goes all in and learns it. I think he'll be able to take over my channel without any problem. He'll probably get all the rules right as opposed to me.
Yeah, you get a lot of love in the chat right now for that. So, including I believe your wife's in there too. So.
Oh yes, my wife is upstairs. Yes, she's up with the kids. They wanted to watch today. So.
Nice. Cool. Okay. That's man, Star Wars is great. Oh, fun little fact. I met the actor who played Boba Fett.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
He went to a local comic book store, so we get to meet him, say hi to him. It's pretty fun to chat with him briefly. Nice. So, cool. Let's move on to the chat. So let's talk about games that replace other games. So, I don't necessarily have a strong desire to have a small collection. I like to have a lot of variety. So it's pretty rare when I feel like a game would replace another game. Generally. I guess it could vary a lot. I don't know about you, Bairnt, but I know you've got a pretty nice size collection
This
there.
is probably one of the toughest topics you have ever brought up, Steve, for me. And even when my wife and I went out for dinner last night and we were coming home and I was like, this is the topic. And I'm really struggling with this one because I don't really know which one, like how to go about what to talk about. And so, and now I'm excited to tell you what I came up with, but I have to admit, this is a really tough topic for me.
Yeah, I same with me. I've got a few of them I can list, but I think this one's going to tie into. I'll just start to the pirate theme that's been going on because the Tiny Epic Pirates has replaced the pirate game for me as well. For the longest time, this is a competitive game, FYI. I was playing Merchant Marauders, which is a fantastic pirate game. It does a lot of things right. With cool events, weather, and you can have little wars and go aboard other ships and stuff like that. It's just great. It's got a lot of things going for it. The issues, one was competitive, though we played it where we're not competitive with each other, we're competitive against the NPCs sailing around, so it's fun that way. But one of the issues is just like the turn structure of that game, meaning that like if I go to a market or if I'm doing a ship battle, it could take a while. While some else's turn could be, I'm moving 3 spaces, that's it, I'm done, right? And so you've got this imbalance of time spent on turns and just kind of this feeling of downtime, a lot of downtime. And so when Tiny Epic Pirates came out, and that's officially only a solo game and competitive game, that one replaced Merchant Marauders for me. One, because it's a small package, so it's great to have this as an option and not take up a ton of shelf space. But two, it solves a lot of the issues I had with like Merchant Marauders in that sense, in that that like the combat is really very quick in Tiny Epic Pirates. And the nice thing is if I get attacked by an NPC or my boat sinks, I don't lose everything. In fact, you almost lose nothing in Pirates, the Tiny Epic Pirates one, which some people might not like. But being a cooperative player, one thing I look for in games is I don't like it when games take away stuff I built up. And Tiny Epic Pirates has that fun pirate theme in it without the feeling of, oh, I just lost my ship I just built up in God. That's not fun for me.
Well, Pirates is about looting and plundering, Steve. It's kind of tough.
It is, which is weird to say because it fits a theme, right? I mean, pirates should be able to take your ship. So, like, I'm not knocking Merchant Marauders for that. You're exactly right. But yeah, that one is one of mine I have, and I would say the Tiny Epic series has done that a couple times for me, mostly because I strive for a collection that I want to have a game for everyone. And some games that I enjoy them mechanically and how they work, but if it's not something that I'm going to pull out a lot to the table, then it's nice to have a small package in Tiny Epic where it's not going to take up a ton of shelf space. I can still have it in my collection for those moments I want to bring it out.
Shelf space, but it's bigger the game, man. I'll find a shelf for it.
And yes, no, mostly because they're tiny but still epic, which is true. Like, I know people give them a lot of flack for the title. Is it really epic game? And I think it's more of the fact that like it's a small box and it just unfolds into this big game experience. Like it takes up a lot of space on the table, which is surprising for such a small collection.
Mm-hmm.
Snow said she has 3 of hers: Elder Sign, Pandemic of the Cure, and Samurai Spirit. So those are ones that it's easy to guess what big games they replace in the solo realm for me. Well, Pandemic of the Cure is definitely Pandemic. I'm guessing Samurai Spirit might have been Ghost Stories, and Elder Sign is probably just one of the Arkham horror games, I'm guessing.
Name any of the Arkham horror games.
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
I mean,
those
that's definitely one road you could go down. I mean, Fantasy Flight brings out all these different things in that Eldritch universe or that Arkham universe kind of thing. And so something catches your eye that you enjoy, you can it'll probably fill that niche. That's one of the other games, like maybe the Living Card game or the Arkham horror board games or Eldritch horror or anything. Any of those could kind of really work that in some way out of the other one. Me, I actually have Elder Sign right here. I don't have Eldritch Horror. I've got Arkham Horror out there, and I've got Arkham Horror, the card game. So I guess you could say those 3 have made me need to buy Eldritch Horror. Though I think every human on the planet that I know that knows me is saying, "You don't have Eldritch Horror? Are you kidding me? You would love that game." And I haven't had a chance to buy it or play it, so that's where it comes from. But
Colin had it. I don't know if he still has it, and I think he got rid of it, but
I could see him getting rid of it due to theme, and because he might have another game that fits the same type of itch but with a different theme.
Yeah.
He has that a lot where he finds like a theme of the game, like he can find another game that has kind of a similar theme and moves on. Where this, like you said, this was a tough one for me because every game in my collection has something that I haven't seen in another game before, which is why I kind of really always have all these bigger games, and I have these like the mass collections of stuff. Like I've got Elder Sign, sure, it's in the Arkham Eldritch Horror Sign, but I don't really have so many Yahtzee style games. It's about the only one I got, so I don't have many outside of that that are filling that niche. I haven't needed. I didn't need to get like the X-Men game or anything like that because I have this one. Now on the flip side, if it just says the word aliens, I don't care what the mechanics are. I have it. That's the deal. That's just how it goes. This like what is it? The Glorious Day in the Core could have replaced my aliens game that has seen all the better days on the planet. This thing is ripped to shreds, but it will never leave my collection. It's still one of my favorite games of all time. And those are very similar. So that could have been one that could have replaced it, but no. What I actually went with was, surprisingly, didn't even catch that I was holding this today, was Star Wars Imperial Assault. I decided to move that one on. That one, I had a group of people that played with us. We enjoyed the first. We only played it solo or co-op. I didn't even own it until they put out that app. So I dug into this game, got it all, bought all the stuff that was used for that core game, and even some of the little extra stuff to be throwing in. And then we played the first mission, and then we got the Jabba the Hutt expansion. We played through that one, and I even bought the Hoth one. We haven't played it yet. I played a little bit with Terrence, and I had actually a really good time. I think the Hoth one is probably one of their better ones. The other two, the problem was I couldn't take it anymore. The AI was out of control. The leveling system was not something that was exciting me. And again, when Steve was talking about hating, like if a guy who just moves up and I'm going to move up and look over this cliff. Oh, okay. Then all of a sudden this huge board opens up, which took me 10 minutes to put on the table. And then next thing you know, there's like guys down there. And he's like, well, my turn's over. Okay. So our guys all jump down there and we start shooting at these guys. We took out a couple, but there's still some left. And so now it goes to the next turn. Okay. Who's going to go first? My friend's like, well, I'm going to jump down. No, you're not, because we got to kill these guys before he can come down. It's like he went last and then first and then he went last. And it's like, by that time, he's on his phone, hanging out, checking the weather, checking his sports, because he really did. And so that was where a moment in that game where I kind of went, I'm not really having that much fun with this. My friends are having fun. They enjoy it. But I think that all of a sudden seeing this big lag and turns really, really made a big problem. I wanted something faster. So surprise, surprise, it got replaced by another Fantasy Flight game, Journeys to Middle-earth, which actually was really fun, and it worked out really well. My friends had an absolute blast. We played the entire first campaign, and I don't think I'm ever going back to Imperial Assault. I have no need for it because Journeys is so much better. I know I haven't played the expansion yet. We've been waiting to do that, but we kind of got into Dungeons and Dragons. We're doing kind of a bigger, and so if Dungeons and Dragons never ends. So once we were done with our campaign, which could be in another year, we might move back to maybe relaxing, playing some board games together, maybe go through that second expansion of Journeys, and who knows, maybe even the third one. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that was some of the things that was the game that I chose, and this was totally not on purpose.
Yeah, and Snow mentioned Downtime, the board game killer, which I definitely agree with that one. Like I tend to be pretty critical of pacing in games and downtime in games. If it's not quite right, it can really ruin the experience. And all the criticisms you mentioned Imperial Assault, I completely agree with. We played through 2 full campaigns of it in co-op. I can't remember I think we got through the 2 full campaigns of it. But there's a lot of things I liked about it, and some things just drove me nuts. Like the AI, absolutely, it's the worst. Like move forward, take a shot, move back to space. Like, and they just do that constantly. It's like, it's so annoying. And then leveling.
Or you got a guy who's got like 9 things, and like you start reading down them, and it's like, well, no, that one doesn't do it. Oh yeah, he could do that. Okay, now you can keep running. And then it's like, Okay, so I read through all 9 of these things and it says advanced 2. Okay, sweet. That was awesome.
Yep, exactly. And the leveling is very uninspired because you get a level 1 card, then you choose between one of 2 level 1 cards, choose between 2 level 2 cards, and 3 and 4, and that's it. You can't even mix and match them, really. You can't be like, oh, let me save my experience and get a level 4 early. Nope.
Yeah, no, you can't do it that way. No, like I said, I did have a lot of fun actually doing the Hoth one with Terrence, who we played over Zoom or whatever for a little while, and I was surprised at what they were doing in that one. That one actually I think would have been fun to play, but again, I think my player count also was an issue at 4, and I think Journeys works better for 4 players because your turns are kind of a little bit faster. You're exploring, and almost every turn you're at least checking something out, as opposed to just running up to a cliff and looking over.
Yeah, definitely. Snow has an interesting comment here. It says, one of the interesting things is, when people talk about games that replace others, they tend to be very similar. I wonder if someone had very different game replace the same feel.
I don't have anything like that. I don't have anything that's been like, oh, hey, like I haven't had a theme replace a theme. I haven't had the only thing like a mechanic replacing a mechanic. So like the Star Wars and Lord of the Rings are different themes completely. And it's not that I'm changing the theme. I'm changing the way that mechanic works. The whole app actually is probably the mechanic I'm looking to change. And so I waited to change that. Another one, now that I think about it, is my wife brought this one up actually as we're driving home. We have both Detective City of Angels and Detective Modern Day Crime Story. And she was saying how much fun they had playing Detective Modern Day Crime Story, my friends and I. I mean, we have the whole whiteboard. It's like right over there with magnets and everything. We put people's pictures up. We put the ropes. We got the whole thing. It's really pretty cool. We have this elaborate setup. We bring donuts to the table, so we look like we get to eat some donuts. We have coffee and stuff like this, so it's really fun because you know the game. You read, it's like, all right, so you go to talk to what's her name. She says, sit over there and have a donut, and I'll bring you like your stuff as soon as I'm ready for it. And like that's all that's on the card, right? And so
that's awesome.
We kind of bring the game to life a little bit. But then when City of Angels came out, we kind of got that same niche. We actually tried it with Modern Day Crime Story, or not that one, was it the Chronicle of Crime? And that one just didn't fly. That was no good for players at all. Only one person gets to look at the goggles at a time, and then we're just like we just found ourselves taking our phone and just randomly scanning things at times. We kind of got, but the City of Angels one, which we have down here, that one hit the mark, and it really gave my group and my wife more excitement because you really are fleshing out the whole story. Sometimes in Modern Day Crime Story, you like when you get to the end and you're asked questions about the end of the game, some are like, oh, so was this and you're like, I don't ever remember seeing anything about that. And so like you just maybe you hit, I don't know, or you hit a random button and you hope that doesn't ruin your score. I mean, so this other one, City of Angels, if you kind of really thought about it and worked hard to try to figure out what it is, by the end, you have all the information. You do get the right story at the end. So they really enjoyed that. And when I could have removed Detective Modern Day Crime Story from my collection because of that, but I like Detective Modern Day Crime Story a little bit more than City of Angels. But it's very minuscule. I think what I liked about it was the fact that I didn't get all the information. I was like, oh, I could maybe go back and try something else. My wife's like, why are you going to do that? We've already won the game. I'm like, well, yeah. And she really likes to be the completist. She likes to see the full story. And because it kind of gets them. If I was a crime scene investigator, I probably wouldn't just stop. And so, well, okay, I can either choose this or this. Which one? No, I'd probably go to both places and check them out.
True.
So unfortunately, the game part of it kind of removes you from what probably would have really happened in reality, which City of Angels makes it feel more like reality because you only have a certain amount of time, but it does give you locations and people that you could talk to, and it gives you kind of an idea of what you're looking for as you're going. So I think that more completist version of City of Angels could have removed Crime Story from my collection. There's another one, I think. But again, like Snow says, same genre, though. I'm not really changing a genre or changing anything like that. Nothing's being removed that is super different. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to, let's put it this way. I will never be Mike. I can't just cull a game because it's just like, oh, I'm done with this one. And like, I have nothing like it. I don't think I'd ever have that. It's just not my style. That's who should be on today, which should be Mike.
Yes, you would have tons of feedback here.
What game replaced this one? Nothing. I just got rid of it.
Yes, we were having fun just talking about doing some new content coming in the future here. One thing we're considering is top games are games that Mike called that he's wrong about, and have the rest of One Stop to cover that. And we were giving
Mike right here.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, ooh, So, Mike, what games have you? Oh, never mind. You've called every game. We can go just pick a game, right? So, no, he does a great job with. Yeah, exactly. He does a great job keeping his collection down small. But getting back to Snow's comment, one of the games that did replace another one in my collection that is very different was Mage Knight. Mage Knight got replaced actually by Renegade.
Oh, yeah, I remember hearing. I remember you talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, and it has a lot to do. Not that Mage Knight's a bad game at all. It just wasn't seeing the table because it's such a long game, a lot of moving pieces. The fantasy theme's fun, but it just takes a while to play, and it's fairly slow going for me. And Renegade is a deck builder, which I love deck builders, and it has that same puzzly nature in Mage Knight. In fact, I know Brentford, designer of that game, popular YouTube guy, Ricky Royal.
Oh yeah.
He designed Renegade based off the fun puzzle nature of Mage Knight. So I love that puzzle nature of Mage Knight, and so I was able to take that and use it in Renegade, and it's just a smaller, faster experience for me, which I really enjoy because that was what I enjoyed of Mage Knight, and if I could get that same experience in a smaller, quicker package, I'm all for it.
You're getting just two-sided there on the comment section.
I know. Like Mage Knight.
You get the people that are like Mage Knight forever, and you get the people Mage Knight.
I know. Mage Knight's got a lot of fans in it, so for sure. So now I got a lot of people unsubscribed, and now I got a lot of hate comments.
Now you just lost your stream channel, and nobody likes you anymore, Steve. I might have to sign off. It's good to see you. I agree. Mage Knight is a big one to get to the table. I haven't played as much as I should, and I think a lot of it has to come from that reason. Do I enjoy it when it hits the table? Yes. I like the fact. I think a lot of the deck building, the puzzling is really a lot of fun. But yeah, it doesn't see as much as it probably should for sure.
Yes, don't mention Mage Knight means more space in my shelves and really dislike it. Oh,
I have Mage Knight somewhere. Oh, it's right up there. That's my Mage Knight.
Hey, hey, Jan, thanks for making it. Robin mentioned something, Bairnt, by the way. I feel like Bairnt and I wound up replacing Robinson Crusoe with Paleo and Forgotten Waters.
That is very true as well. I forgot about that one. Thank you very much, Robin. I wouldn't say it for her. It probably did because she gets frustrated with Robinson Crusoe pretty easily. But they do definitely. We've been playing a lot more Paleo and a lot more, and that Uncharted Waters is a ton of fun. And they're the same type of adventure game type thing, or I guess you could say adventure game, resource management type games sometimes in a way. And we do have a blast with those. I haven't put Robinson Crusoe on the table for a long time since I've gotten. I think Paleo's right up here. And as you can tell, if it's being on top of something, that means I've probably pulled it off more recently than not. As you can tell by this one being way down here, this crime story one that chronicles a crime.
Just crack me up because I can't win Robinson Crusoe.
This is true. For those of you that don't know the story, we played the first mission that get off the island one or something with the fire you had to build or whatever. And we played it, I think, 3 times, and we lost twice. And the third one, we got the fire going. Everything was great. And so she's like, we won the game. Like, I think we have to get to the end of the turn. No, I think we're good. I think, I'll go with it. We're good. So I poloed Colin. I'm like, Colin, so we just want to know, did we win? We get the fire build? We have to go. I have to go to the end. And you just hear from the back, no, Colin, you're wrong. We did it. We made it through. Because we would have died. We would not have made it through to the end of the turn. We didn't have anywhere close to what we needed to feed people or anything like that. It was just go, ooh. I mean, and Robinson Crusoe really, it has that tendency to spiral just so out of control that you just almost have to scoop the game. And it's hard for me to play a game that I have to scoop sometimes. Been like, let's just start over. This is just terrible. We'll start it again. Where Paleo and the Uncharted Waters, you're always in there. I feel like I always had a fighting chance, even if things were going a little bit wrong. Sometimes, and I'm sure if anybody's played Robinson Crusoe, you can see when that downward spiral's happening. You're like, this is just bad. We flip over 2 tiles that aren't helping us, and we had all of a sudden 2 events that were just super bad. Like all of a sudden I have no food. My guy is like half health already on the first turn. It's kind of like, well, that's kind of it. Let's start again. I will say we did win once, but after we won, our celebration was slightly diminished by the fact that we didn't realize we didn't see the word junior above the adventure. So we beat one of the junior adventures in Robinson Crusoe. So, It was the only one we've ever beat. So we still think we should get it back to the table and give it a shot again, but it is a slightly frustrating experience for if you always feel like you need to win.
Absolutely, yeah. That game is brutal, very challenging. I remember we played a game where it was the first scenario, and we've won this one before, but we were playing again, and we got to the point where like, cool, got our wood. We're gonna get our automatic wood next turn or something like that, and we'll win the game. We've got it set up. Final turn, we're fine. And we drew an event card. It's like, oh, by the way, not sure there was some forest fire or something like that, and you're not getting wood this turn. Like, no, come on, you can't put wood in the pile because of it. It's like, ah, but I think I agree that it can have the downward spiral, but I think the one thing that really shines for me for that game is setting up the engine and like figuring out like what things to build to maintain and thrive in that environment. It's really fun when that does happen, and you don't have to worry about the weather or the snow. Like, oh, that's fine. I've got systems in place to mitigate that. I don't have to worry about that anymore. And then let's start building up something else up. And so that's what really enjoyed that one. But
well, you're a better man than I apparently can't get the most part of I get like maybe the steering wheel of the engine on there, and then the engine is still never built by the time the snow and the rain and the animals and everything comes. Or else you get one of them built, and like you said, all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I got my shelter up. This is great, and it's like, oh, here comes hurricane. Your shelter's gone. It's like, oh, well, I didn't have any of the other stuff built, so that's fantastic. Here comes the animal, my guy. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Didn't have that set up yet. It's fun, and there's lots of and the interesting thing, like you're saying right now, is all these stories we're already telling about it. Everybody has their like stories that happen to them in this game that they can always relate to.
But I think the big thing about me is I've realized that I don't really care about winning or losing. So like losing in Robinson Crusoe is never the goal, of course, but it doesn't bother me that I lose in that game. So
right.
But yeah, that's fun. Time Slayer. I try to hold on to dear life, but sometimes the event that created a down spiral actually reverses later with a great and timely event helping you out. My experiences from this War of Mine. Yeah, I love it when games have that downward spiral that can happen, but also the counter. I know this is something we've talked about a lot on Discord. Is with Spirit Island. Are the events good or bad in that game? And I love the events in that game because I feel like they generally do both good and bad stuff. And I've had a event come up and it pushes me forward where I'm able to like, steamroll the bad guys. Other events where like it delayed me from winning. I don't think I've ever lost from an event. Maybe. I don't think so. Nothing comes to mind at least. But yes, definitely enjoy it when you've got those fun events that you survive long enough to make it out. Cool. Yeah, it snows. I hate the events exactly. So, yeah, very polarizing discussion. That might be a fun one to chat about it.
I was going to say, we could talk about that at some point too, sometime down the line, like resource management or difficult games that are just like for some this War of Mine is another one that's I might be the only one that super enjoys that game. That one, I love that game. That's a fantastic game. Sure, like, and you know what? I'm sure we've talked about these in the past, where like games that have like a tough theme, and it's a tough theme, but the way the game set up, the mechanics in it, and all that is super fun. I really enjoy all the things that happen in that game. That's a lot of fun. Just all the different things where they're pulling at what you should do versus what you should not do, stuff, and like what you should do, but you can't because you really want to do this other thing, and so it's not as Robinson Crusoe doesn't have that by any means. I mean, you just flip over the card and have to deal with it. You don't really have but you do have choice. You could decide to like do what it says in the card or put it back and it comes back later type thing into the other deck for Robinson Crusoe. But yes, and Robinson Crusoe could be very similar to this War of Mine, those kind of resource management like type games. It's again different themes. That might be an interesting topic.
Jan had a question for us.
Oh,
he's asking, which game will Isofarian Guard replace for you?
It won't be replacing anything. I won't own it.
Oh, just because Colin's buying it, right?
Colin got it.
Yeah. I mean, easy answer for you, right? Similar answers to me. I'm going to own it, so a little bit different there, but it's not replacing any game for me because I don't think I have anything like it in my collection.
Yeah.
So
it wouldn't replace anything for me. I don't have anything like it at all.
I think the closest thing I have is probably Runebound, which is kind of an open world adventure game, but that's still very, very different than Isofarian Guard. And I did do a chat about this in a recent podcast on there where Kim and I compared Iridia, Isofarian Guard, and Skyrim as being three big open adventure games. And honestly, those games feel very different to each other. Even
you didn't help me at all, Steve. Not one bit. You did not help me. You were supposed to tell me which one to buy, and you said at the end, all three are great in their own ways. That's perfect.
I between the three of them, Isofarian Guard and Iridia are really standout games for sure. Those are both fantastic. So I can tell you at least that much. I haven't played a ton of Skyrim though, but oh yeah, Jan, how can you not own it? So that's nice having you guys can split the one. Hey Marcel, thanks for joining. Let's see. So I had another comment here, but like Unsettled, you can be like, oh my, I'm spending so much time and going to lose, and then you turn the thing around and end up winning or losing just due to one time. Yeah, I love close games like that. That's really fun.
Or you can play with Colin. He just randomly shoots you all over the board, and you just have to take it.
Yep.
That's lots of fun. That happened to me.
Exactly. And Ryan had a good comment here. He's talking about like, oh, I haven't been in the hobby long enough to build up a large enough collection to replace anything, which is very, very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I honestly think that I'm still slightly in that boat, even though, really, I am. There's still, themes and genres and mechanics that I don't own. So there's always something coming up that if I'm looking, I'm like, wow, that seems really cool because it's got that cool. It's got this like neat thing. Like for example, your Isofarian Guard coming in with that bag. I don't have a bag development game yet that it stands out. So getting something like that would be really cool. Colin said I want to say that came out. There's like a big three that came out at that time. It was Isofarian Guard. I want to say Aeon's Trespass and maybe like Bard's Song or something like that.
Oathsworn.
Was it Oathsworn?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he grabbed Isofarian Guard. And this is actually the first time we actually coordinated because all three of these games came out at the same time. And he's like, and I actually backed all three. And he messaged me and said like, hey, are you getting any of these? And I said, yeah, I'm getting all. He goes, take out Isofarian Guard. I'm going to get that one. We could at least save a little money. And we each got Oathsworn, but I think one of us is probably going to get rid of it. And we might play it, and we're probably going to play it together. And then I got the Aeon Trespass, and he's excited to play that one. So we'll play that one together when I get it. I think all of them, they're all coming in 2033.
That's probably true.
I keep getting updates like, well, production's going along, and it's like, hey, my game's not here. But that's the beauty of Kickstarter. I never get upset about things taking a lot of time and all this stuff. Just as long as that's just my stance on Kickstarter. As long as they do get the thing right and it's coming out, I'd rather have a polished, perfected copy. But I'm a person that has enough games to suffice. Where I would hate to be that my first Kickstarter for Kingdom Death and Myth. And so I got Myth because I have to talk about Myth every time. I got Myth, and I was super excited for it. We've been playing a lot, and I kept wanting Kingdom Death to come. And I was kind of getting a little upset. They kept getting pushed back, because I didn't have that vast amount of games to pull from yet.
Right.
So if it's one of your first swings you got was Oathsworn, I could see you're kind of like, I want it now. I don't have any games to play without it. I'm not paying $425 for Kingdom Death or something. So
right.
But how much into Oathsworn? So I can understand frustrations in Kickstarter if you don't have a collection behind you to be able to pull from.
For sure. Jan had another question for us. It says, what about games like Imperial Assault versus Descent 2nd Edition versus Descent, not 3rd edition? He said, aka
I've never played Descent 2nd Edition. I will always I will pull out Descent Legend of the Dark and Journeys to Middle Earth before I pull out Star Wars. That was actually the one. If I didn't have a little boy upstairs who loves Star Wars, I might not even have it in my collection anymore. But it's behind all these other games, way in the back. It's not something it's ever gonna. I would have to dig for it, just because. It's Fantasy Flight does have an interesting way of. It was interesting. It was Fantasy Flight. I've noticed that Fantasy Flight for me would be one company that can make a game that could replace a game pretty easily in their own collection, in their own group. Because they've been built we were talking about Imperial Assault went to Journeys, which has now gone to the new Descent game. I want to say Descent 2 is kind of in between, I think, Journeys and Imperial Assault when it came to app integration, because Descent 2 is kind of in the same genre as Imperial Assault. The game had already been made, and they're just making it underneath for this, where these other two, of course, built the app for it. kind of thing. So I think is one of the reasons those other two games for me didn't really click as much.
Yeah, I have not played the New Descent. I would like to
That's
try it.
because you're no good.
Yeah,
You need to work on this, Steve. You need to work on
know.
playing good games.
Yes, do need to try that sometime. I have played the second edition way back in the day. I only played like once though, and that was a long time ago. I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. I played a lot of Imperial Assault, and I'm just like you, Baron. I'm a kid not playing Imperial Assault again. As much as I love Star Wars theme, like it's fantastic theme IP, but yeah. So between that list, I'd probably not playing the New Descent. I'd probably lean towards that one because it looks pretty fun. So. Cool. You guys got a lot of comments. You guys are awesome. So, but I think that's.
They are awesome, Steve. This is very true.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Marcel had an interesting comment. I've not had many games that are almost identical to an older game I have until recently. Harakiri and Oko Chronicles, for instance. Yeah, those are very similar themed games, at least. So, but yes.
I don't have it. The interesting thing is, I wonder if that was it the Hakari game. Is that new one with that just came on Kickstarter that we talked about last week? Yeah, okay, I'm all in on that, by the way. Including like sleeves and art book and all that, and my wife's probably watching. And I'm probably going to be that could potentially be one that could replace Shadows of Brimstone Forbidden Fortress if it really. I mean, it might fit that same theme. It's not going to. I will keep both of them for sure. But again, now if you're talking themes and you're replacing themes, that could maybe replace that theme a little bit. But no, it's not.
Definitely. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, yeah, this has been my wife right there.
Yes, this has been a fun chat, everyone. I think we'll. Oh, here we go. One more because your wife mentioned this one. The theme today is crack me up because Bairnt gets rid of nothing. If any of you can fit something in place again, through space, you will be my hero. That's amazing.
This is true.
Cool. Okay, well, I think we'll end it for today. We'll do another fun chat next week. And if you guys ever have any suggestions, things you guys want to talk about for topics, drop in the comment section below. I had a Discord. Let like one of us know, and we'll make the thing. We'll make it happen. So.
Yeah, actually, it's a lot easier if you guys pick a topic for us because then we don't have to think about it. We're gonna be like, Steve will be like, "Hey, somebody brought up this idea. Like, that's a great idea. Let's go with it, Steve. It'll be a blast."
Absolutely.
And then the best part is, all you guys come on, and if you thought of the comment, you probably have some really great insight on what you're interested in talking about, and you help fill in some of the gaps that a lot of times we just fill in with random words and stories and stuff.
Yep, this is the off the wall live chat, so it's fun.
That's right.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining. The next stream, I believe, on this channel is going to be Assassin's Creed. We'll continue the campaign Monday.
You are now ahead of me, Steve. I'm still on 1.1. I sadly did not get that. I was hoping to get it to the table this week. I did not. I could not resist getting. William over at Hungry Gamer had sending me pictures of going like, "Have you played Chapter 2 of Madara yet?" I'm like, "No, you need to play it." I'm like, "Okay," so I put it back on my table. So I'm actually recording more Madara is what is my thing right now. So I'm halfway through the side quest of Chapter 2, and then I'm super excited to get back to the game. I really wish that Colin would have had a better experience with that game because I really think this. If it wasn't for maybe the theme of the game again, I think this would have been something he would really enjoy. I just love the way that game opens. It hides its information better than any game I've seen, with even a separate book that has things that happen and things like that. But anyway, that's for another story.
It's a great game, for sure. Yes. Cool. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the next stop. Bye-bye.